Hey guys, this is Matt Wenning at WenningStrength.com, and today we're going to talk about an odd topic that I don't see covered a lot, but it probably should be covered more often. And that is, if you want to build muscle or increase strength, are they the same? And the answer is yes and no, and I'm going to explain why. So let's get to it. The first big thing that I think that you can do to get better is to utilize pauses in your training. Now, whether that's a pause bench, a pause squat, or controlling your setup on the deadlift, using pauses on the floor. I don't know how many times we've seen guys deadlift and bounce it off the ground. You're not really utilizing anything other than elastic energy. That's why people that bounce deadlifts, the first rep looks insanely hard, the second one looks easy. Why? They didn't get any stronger on the second rep. They stored elastic energy because now they have an eccentric to the concentric. By doing pausing, the muscle has to work harder. So to make your exercises more beneficial for putting on pure muscle versus just showing off for your friends at the gym, is pause your exercises and watch your muscle mass go up. Why? It's harder to move something that stops. It's easy to move something that's already in motion because of stored kinetic energy or elastic energy. So use pauses and that will help tremendously. Now, when we're talking eccentrics, we're not talking about like Adam Sandler and the Waterboy, okay? We're talking about going down with the exercise. So an eccentric is the negative portion of the movement. But if we tempo these particular exercises, especially this part, the eccentric, we are going to see massive amounts of muscle mass. Why? Because on the eccentric portion of the motion, you're actually stronger. So if we look at a force velocity curve, it goes beyond isometric into eccentric. Obviously, all of us watching this video can squat 500 on the way down. We just can't all stand up with it, right? So we are stronger on eccentrics, but I find that for most people training, the eccentric portion of the lift is completely discarded, and they think the concentric part of the lift is where they're actually putting on muscle tissue. Well, if you're measuring strength, then the eccentric portion of it doesn't matter as much, right? Actually, if we watch guys like Maddox bench press, he gets it right where he wants it, and there's not a lot of control on the way down. Why? He doesn't want to waste the energy to push it up. It's not about muscle mass for him, it's about how much you can put on the bar. But if your goal is to get jacked and get a ton of muscle, you want to control those eccentrics because you're going to get more time under tension for the same rep, therefore you're going to get more growth. The next part of the lift is concentric. So that would be if I'm at the bottom of a bench and I come up, that's the concentric part of the lift. Most of the time for the concentric lift, you want to fire it as hard as you possibly can at that time, no matter what the weight, if it's 40% for speed or if it's max effort work and you have to grind. You want to make sure that your concentrics are moving as fast as possible most of the time. And the reason is, you try to fire harder, you're going to innervate more motor units, therefore you're going to attack more muscle tissue. But sometimes, just sometimes, you actually want to use tempos on the way up too. The problem with speed in real weight is that the hardest part is the dead stop. Once you get it moving, it's no longer that weight because it's already in motion. Okay, so if you use bands and chains, you can fire as fast as you want through the motion, but because it's getting heavier, you actually get more motor unit recruitment with the same lift. But let's just talk free weights because most of you guys, that's what you train. With free weights, why don't you try this? Let's say you can bench 250. I want you to take 225 and I want you to take 5 seconds down with a pause and then 5 seconds up, and you tell me that that's not harder than your max, even if it's achievable. The reason is you can't use any elastic energy. So when you go to slow concentrics, the muscles have to work extremely hard, especially in their weakest points, because you didn't accelerate through your weakest point, you slowed it down. So again, I know this might seem a little confusing, but most of the time, I would say 80% of the time, fire your concentrics as fast as you can for motor unit recruitment, and then 20% of the time, slow the concentric down so you're attacking more muscle with time under tension at its weakest point versus using acceleration and elastic energy. Thanks for watching. Please come on WenningStrength.com and check it out, and make sure that you support Patreon, which is what funds these videos and helps us give you guys extra content.